Good morning, everybody. Who wants to play a game? Let's play a game called chess. So this is a 15 plus 10. I have to play 15 plus 10 because Byron keeps stepping on my about it. But yeah, it's absolutely right. Okay, so we played the Van Geet and we get c5. So this guy's like a Sicilian player and wants to go into Sicilian. This is really interesting because I haven't got a clue what to do. We could oblige him and go into a Sicilian, which is already a closed Sicilian. Now, what's interesting, and it's closed because we're not opening up this square, right? Normally with knight f3, then you'll play d4, you'll play swapsies on here, right? And normally with this knight on here. This is closed because we ain't going to do that, because we haven't put a knight on here yet. So I'm going to go Grand Prix style with f4, quickly castle. So I want to get this knight now behind the f-pawn. I want to get this bishop. Ooh, hello. Hello. He's bringing it already, look. Yeah, this bishop, normally you want to swap it off and then play d3 and build this structure. Okay. Now, we have tension. I can ignore it because of this. Can I ignore it because of this? Well, yes, because actually that knight very often goes that way anyway. So if I do this, takes, I'm okay. If I push e5, it takes away f6 from the knight. This knight comes here. See, if I push that and then queen here, it's got to be g3, which is all right. Ain't the end of the world. Knight there, I think I prefer the principle of developing a piece rather than pushing a pawn in the middle. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, this is fine. Now, I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play knight g3 because this is now familiar territory. Double knights on the king side, castle king side, and the other thing is it gets out of the way of this bishop, so I can stick my bishop on b5 and swap it off, unless he plays this on the next move, which I don't think he will. Okay, there we go. So now I can put my bishop here, right? Hey, Sashi. Put my bishop here. Now I'm guaranteed to swap off this because the knight can't move. So there we go. That's the knight. We get d3 in. And that's happy days. See, now I'm not worried about this because I've got a c-pawn as well to recapture. So, and this bishop defends that. I like white's position here already. My knight could come in if it wished. In fact, the knight's opinion has got nothing to do with it. It's all down to me, isn't it? This attacks this pawn. That knight takes. I mean, I'll tell you, my hunt right now is short castles. I'm just trying to find something better. This bishop can't go there, obviously, and I really don't think it's worth moving it one square to d2. Can't go there, and can't even go there, so what's the point? That bishop can chill. It might even fianchetto at some point, so we ignore that bishop. Okay. Short castles. Opponent's rated 1497, I'm rated 1573 currently. This is a 6-10 game for me, and I lose 2 points if we draw. How's everyone doing? Just let me know in the comments. Just say, I'm doing good. Right, out comes the knight, black wants the castle. Now, pushing this pawn forward would appear to be interesting, because it's like, ooh, I kick a knight, right? But I also bring this bishop to life. This light squared bishop, notice I've got rid of my light squared bishop. This is his better bishop. This is his poor bishop, actually, in theory, because his dark squared bishop can't touch any of these pawns, so it can't get through. This bishop, in theory, can get through, because it can capture my pawns, although it can't see his own while they're on, well, it can't capture his own anyway. So, I don't see any value. So very often, once you've kind of captured, you've got this control over these central squares, that like the ones just in your opponent's, like your fifth, just in your opponent's half, very often makes sense just to hold them there, I think. So I'm going to play a normal Grand Prix move, which is Queen E1. Queen E1, the idea is that the Queen's going to come here. Now this knight, notice, can't actually go there right now. Or there, because of the pawn. Knight takes there, okay. Now he's pushing up the queen side. This is all very familiar. If I push A3, can't push, takes... yeah. I do have a problem with my dark squared bishop now. My dark squared bishop would be brought to life with the move F5, and F5 is a very common idea in the Grand Prix. F5, if he pushes, then we've closed both of the central files. And I have space. Space, the final frontier. Yeah, but more importantly, I wake up this guy. And he's got two good squares. I mean, okay, F4 isn't available yet. But should this knight move, the rook defends F4? Actually, E5 now, you never know. I mean, I've just been talking about the importance of not pushing these pawns, unless there's a jolly good reason. I think there is a jolly good reason. Okay, now, this is interesting. I think knight takes is obvious. Knight takes, and I'm threatening the g-pawn, so he's going to castle, yes? I could take out his bishop, but that's his bad bishop. If I capture it with a pawn, I'm looking at the bishop, which is defended by the queen. Now I'm taking with a knight. I want to leave this pawn here. Right, we've had this conversation. Now this threatens mate. But obviously his queen can just take me out. And that doubles up my pawns, which is a real mess. Actually, it doesn't. Queen takes, knight takes backwards. But still, I don't want that. So I really want to put my queen on g3. Which means I need to block this file somehow. Or persuade Her Majesty to move along. Now, the move e5 is slightly tempting here, actually. And here's the thing. I think one of the biggest stages of evolution that any of us can make in chess is to evaluate everything literally on its merits. Okay, so for example, I've said I don't want to wake up this bishop. I don't want to give it activity. It's looking down at my kingside. Okay, now that doesn't mean it's a mistake. If for example e5 is better, so e5 he moves his knight. Let's say he moves his knight here. I still don't have that move because the knight guards it. Not good. What if I do this and try and take out the knight? But the knight isn't the immediate problem. The queen's the immediate problem. So what we have here is we have a puzzle. Queen h4, bishop f4, hits queen, might block, walks into a fork. Bishop takes. I haven't got a queen here. Queen here. Queen here, bishop here. Bishop blocks. Bishop takes bishop. No. Queen here, bishop here, bishop here. e5 looks like a fork, and it is a fork technically. But bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop, rook across onto an open file. Interesting. But what I haven't checked is, can he move that knight with anything unpleasant? And I don't think he can. If he moves that knight, I can come to g4 instead of g3. And I threaten mate from g4, just as I would have done from here. So this I mean, there's the immediate trade-off. I mean, I've also got knight g5 there, but again, still this knight has to be persuaded to move along. I have this. The bishop takes, hits the queen. Queen can come here or here, keeping on the light squares, and this bishop being somewhat out of commission. There. Oh no, I've got a knight on there as well. Hang on. Here, there. He loses material. Right, so what this means is this queen move was a good move, because that isn't playable because he does walk into a pawn fork, attacking knight and bishop. He can't take because knight takes or bishop takes. In fact, probably bishop takes. Bishop on here, hitting queen, hitting g7. I think this may turn out to be a reasonable move. Giving up coffee again tomorrow. I've got one bag of coffee. I have to try and neck today. So, see, I've spent some time, but this is good, right? This is Gandalf. This is Gandalf. Right? So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for us to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us. Right? So what's the idea here? Well, I'm glad you asked. I mean, I could advance this knight with an immediate, well, it's not immediate, but with pressure on h7, right? Could advance the knight, also opening up the rook slightly. Could be preparing this. Now, let's say the queen vacates. Actually, if she vacates to here, I can't promote this, move this pawn forward, push it, but without undefending the knight. Okay, she goes there. Not altogether sure I approve of that. And now, so yeah, this is what I'm saying. Don't make these decisions and then concrete yourself in, right? Is e5 a good move now? It might have been a terrible move on the previous four or five moves, but it might be the perfect move now, because things change. Now, let's say we push, we attack the knight. I mean, I've got this actually immediately, so that's probably what we should look at first. This, or this, with the idea of this as well. Right, so either of these I'm threatening mate on g7, yes? So what's he going to do? Let's say I go here, just for the sake of argument. I'm threatening mate. So what's he going to do? Well, he's going to push the pawn. I have that with check. And he moves the king to one side. Can I get in via the dark squares? Well, no, it's not very easy. Partly because he's still got his dark squared bishop. If I do that, and queen takes, or rook takes, but then the alternative is this, but that's, h7 is defended by the knight. Now, e5, does this solve my issues? The knight has to move along, and he can't get there, and he can't get there. So this knight goes here, and am I worried about this? Well, no. There, and then my rook's threatening to come into play. So I think e5. I think e5, guys. Notice when the knight moves, that's the discovered attack against my queen. I prefer the term discovered attack to revealed attack. What's the difference? Well, we don't know. I think he's going to come here and he's going to hit my bishop. But then I'm going to come here and threaten mate. Or here. Both defending the bishop and both threatening mate. Rook takes. Yeah, rook takes. I mean, I have this threatening mate, but I don't see any reason why not to do this. My rook can now come to g3 or h3. This rook can come across if it needs to. I kind of like this actually. I kind of like rook g3 because the rook and the queen can then bully both files at once, which will be deeply unpleasant. In fact, what I didn't consider there, I didn't even consider pawn takes f6, bishop takes f6. Then my queen's on Prix. So. Okay, so we took that with the rook. It is done. This knight's going to have to move, and it ain't going there or there. This knight is going either there or there. This isn't everybody's way, but it is hitting the bishop. But if it does that, oh, I've got to move the queen. I was going to say I could move my rook and threaten mate, but then bishop takes queen. So he's going to come here. I bet you he's going to come here. Then I've got to get off this diagonal. So what am I going to do? This threatens mate immediately. Walks into g6. Okay, right. Immediate issue is queen's on Prix. So I think we simply do this. He can't take my bishop because he gets mated. If he pushes this, I have this, but again, the dark squared bishop still exists. I want to keep my dark square. Oh, okay, I did not consider that. We did not consider this eventuality. Check. This pawn is in a pin, right? Can't move. Check. Forced. Does this benefit us in any way? Eight minutes, loads of time. You can play a whole game in that time. Now I have this with a fork on queen and rook, but bishop can take it out. There, bishop takes me, I take. Is it just rook g3? And then this idea. He might take out my bishop with his poor knight. So do I want to install my bishop here first? Because then I am actually putting 3 attackers on here. Gets the bishop out of the knight's line of sight. If he pushes now, I like this. Now, the other thing I like is that it's one thing removed from the F file as well. So we're attacking on 3 files at once here. We're really mixing it up. I kind of like that. Obviously he can't take. He does this. My bishop's strong, but my bishop's then defended only by the knight and on Prix. So I might be forced to trade it off. Queen defends f7, notice now. I think this is forced, pretty much, because I'm threatening to take... Did you just do that? What did you do? This, that. That's interesting. Again, Hunty fails to notice a reasonable move from opponent. Okay. He's got rook takes right now, but then knight takes. So that's not on, but I think this is his idea. If I take, he does this. I can't give check with the knight. I can actually, can't I? Check with the knight. King can't move, right? Because the bishop's on here, there, and the knight's giving check there. Okay. I do this. If he does that, I give check. He has to take the knight with the rook, and then I take that with check. What else has he got? Bishop takes, loses to queen takes g7 mate. I'm too tempted. Rook here doesn't change a damn thing. He just loses the rook with check. Bugger. I just lost a piece. There you go, again. There you go. So I'm a piece down. Cock. I just completely missed. I just didn't visualize. I thought he's in check. I just completely missed the fact that the bishop was unprotected there. Ah, right. Arse. That's a weakness. My queen's on Prix at the minute, so we have to do something. My feeling is just stick the queen here for now. Cooper! Oi! Cooper! Oi! Sasha! That's disgraceful. He's got that. No, he hasn't. Rook h3 threatening again. I'm 2 pawns down, equivalent, right? I'm basically down a bishop for a pawn, but look at his pawns. I have an active rook. This is not the end of the world. This, I think he might have to take, because this I'm threatening that with a fork, right? And rook on it right now. Might even play rook af1. You going pawn hunting? No, he's knight hunting. This, bishop takes, pawn takes. I don't blame you for wanting to take out my knight. But I have takes, takes, rook takes. I don't think we're too bad here. Okay, I can take it with the rook. And defends this pawn. The problem with that is queen takes g2 mate. Yes, that is a slight issue. Okay, we've got to be careful. In fact, he's not threatening that because I've got queen takes. Is it king over? King here he can't take there, but then king there he can. I can't push this pawn because it hangs this to the queen. God, he's found some resources, hasn't he? Last few moves. Rook e1. That defends the pawn. Can't find anything better than rook e1. And now I'm down to under 5 minutes. I'm going to have to get a shake on. Also, this still isn't playable for the same reason. I might have to play g3. That's not a bad idea because it cuts out options for his bishop. That's a possibility. Queen here is a possibility to defend the pawn. My hunch is g3, but g3, problem with that is it takes away options. So rook e2 maybe. Rook e2 this, he has that. Take here. The rooks are paired at least. Are they? No. Rook e2, they're not paired. Now what are you doing? What's your game? I'm just doing that. Sometimes instincts help. Queen still defends the rook. I can now take this with either pawn, actually. With either rook, sorry. Quite like having this rook on the open file, though. So rook e takes e3. Push here. Pawn can't take because I take the bishop with check. Here, rook takes. I can take that. It's worth a go. He's threatening to win a pawn here. But then pins this pawn because we've got rook takes rook. Rook takes that, and I'm threatening that. I have a check. Picks up a pawn. Check. He might block. He might block with a bish. I can't attack the bishop, just take it. If I take here, queen can't take back. I think that's interesting. He's not planning to sacrifice on here. I don't know what he's doing with his rooks here, actually. This is super sharp though, isn't it? This is great. I'm now one pawn down. Cock. What happened there? Ah, that's what I see. It's just one of these little things. Blocks the queen's defense of the rook. And blocks. I can't take with the queen. Can't persuade his bishop to move. I fucked it. Bishop's pinned, it can't move. Queen takes, check. Queen here, there. Queen here's mate. Well, I've been absolutely trounced in the last part of that game. Good game. Let's have a look. My first loss in Rapid for a little while, I think. Wow. Absolutely all over him. Okay, this is definitely worth a look. What is my big blunder? Yeah. Ignored an opportunity to win material. What? Then what if just takes? Oh! I'm attacking this undefended rook. So here his best option is f6. I just take it. Wow. Oh, man. Okay, let's go back to the start. Okay, so could have thrown in the check there. There's an in-between move. Also preparing to castle. Never considered it. Never considered it. Yeah, and it's achieving my goal. I want to get rid of the bishop. So here he's going to block with something. Right, so knight d7. Bishop takes d7 is fine, or just leave the knight pinned there and move my knight out of the way. That's good. Okay. Anyway, I do this. This is good. That's okay. I think g3 there, actually. We talked about g3. But maybe after the queen came down. Good. That's okay. Castles was better. And here it's very equal. Bishop d2. Okay, well I discounted that because, yeah, I mean it had no squares to go to, but at the same time you could argue that it's controlling squares. Ah. It wanted f5 immediately, which does come now. Okay, now we're slightly better. Knight takes best, good. Good move, but queen g3. Oh, see, my worry was queen g3 and he trades. And he would have. But now he had... What? No! I had an in between. I did not see that. Oh my god. Oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. King has to move. We take the queen. And move one apiece. Oh. So this, guys, is a sophisticated deflection move. I'm threatening mate here. Okay? That just is not good. Because knight h6 check. Oh, his queen's undefended, for goodness sake. Okay, so his queen's undefended. He has to trade. He has to trade. And I just completely missed this. Forking king and an undefended bishop. Well, that is the thing of beauty. Okay, but that's not what happened in the game. Best move. Ah. Oh, what? Sack the knight. Check. If he goes here, it's mate in 2. To queen g5, bang. If he goes here, it's... Oh no, if he comes out here, it's mate in 1. Wow. Oh, that would have been a beautiful sacrifice. What a stunning game. Then it's saying 95 with all kinds of threats. Wow. Wow. Just didn't consider the sacrifice. Sometimes the sacrifice is the right thing to do. Oh, what here? Should have taken that before recapturing. So hang on. This same queen takes. Then we take the knight, attacking the queen or the rook, if the rook had took. And then we trade queens and mess up his pawns, and then that. And we are in a winning position. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you, Fish, for this lesson in attacking chess. Okay. Inaccurate, but we're still in a very good position. Best move, we thought that. Here it's saying, now I never considered blocking. Never considered it. See, it's first of all, in order to find the best move, you've got to consider the best move. That is one of our biggest problems as beginners and intermediate players. We just don't even think. It's not on our radar. It doesn't become a candidate move. If it can't be a candidate move, it can't be the move that you select. Okay. Bishop g5 was better there. Best move, best move. And here, it just wasn't it. Here, queen h4. Hitting this rook. Again, what I didn't do there is I didn't scan the board, right? And just spot what this basic goldfish stuff. So let's look. What was it? 66 from me. Ooh. 13, 15, 15, 50. Well, in my humble opinion, that was a better game than 13, 50, 15, 50. But the most important thing, really, is what I've learned about my blind spots and the errors that I've made in that game. So thank you, Mr. Fish, for this very generous lesson. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.